Hey guys, this is Austin, and supposedly this is the world's thinnest laptop. So this is the Acer Swift 7. So thinner is usually better, right? You don't see everyone walking around with enormous laptops anymore. However, my question is, how thin is too thin? As this guy measures in at less than 10 millimeters thick. So, inside the box we get some paperwork. Perfect. Huh, that's a thin laptop, all right. At first glance, it doesn't seem crazy. So we have a couple ports on the side, but we'll get to that in just 1 second. A USB-C to USB-A adapter in the box. How thoughtful. Apple. We also have a USB-C to HDMI adapter included in the box, and the power cable is also USB-C. If you hadn't guessed yet, this laptop has only USB-C ports, although this is a little bit big for a USB-C charger. So that's one of the downsides to having something that is so thin. And like I've said with all the other USB-C devices this year, such as the MacBooks, while it's a great connector, it's absolutely the future, it's difficult to get by with no standard USB ports today. Ooh, that is a nice looking laptop. So side by side with the current generation 12-inch MacBook, it is a fair bit thicker. So you're seeing there's a lot bigger of a taper here. Now, this is not exactly a super thick laptop by any means, but this is definitely thinner. And something you won't find on the 12-inch MacBook are 2 USB-C ports, which the Swift has. So at the very least, you can plug in something like an external drive and also charge your laptop at the same time. You know, like any laptop ever should be able to do. I do like the finishes of the laptop, but it gets really fingerprinty very quickly. I haven't even turned it on, and yet it's completely coated already. Open up the Swift 7, and you will find the 13.3-inch 1080p IPS display. Now, while it might not be quite as high resolution as I'd like, it's actually a really nice looking panel. Something you won't find is a touchscreen. So no matter how much I touch the Gorilla Glass display, nothing happens. And that's kind of a disappointment. At this point, if you're gonna get any kind of reasonably high-end Windows 10 laptop, I feel like a touchscreen should be part of the bargain. This keyboard is not bad. So a lot of times when you have very, very thin laptops, one of the first things that gets sacrificed is the actual keyboard travel. It's very shallow, it's very clicky. This is a surprisingly good keyboard. There's very little sort of flex in it, and I feel like I could pretty much immediately get up to speed on this guy. The trackpad is also not bad. So even though it's a little bit of a weird shape with it being very wide and not so tall, the accuracy is nice. We have things like multi-touch gestures. I can swipe to go back. And that's one of the things that's really kind of immediately jumping out to me about the Swift 7. Even though it's a super thin laptop, Acer didn't compromise on the essentials, right? So the screen is solid, keyboard is surprisingly good, even the trackpad is completely usable.
And that includes running the headset off of the built-in batteries.
Speakers are also decent. So unlike most laptops, especially these days, they're actually firing downward, which means that the sound is not quite as clear as it could be. But for something that's this thin, it gets a pass. Something you won't find around back are any vents, as this is a fully fanless laptop. Now that's not exactly something brand new. However, a lot of times you're gonna end up sacrificing performance. And with this, we're getting a slightly lower spec CPU. Inside, we have the latest 7th generation Intel Core i5 processors based on Kaby Lake. So that's fully up to date. However, these are the same processors that used to be called Core M. Essentially what that means is in return for that fanless design, it's a much lower watt part at around 4.5 watts. To give you some perspective on that, most smartphones are not too far south of that. Paired with 8 GB of memory, this is going to be fine for light to moderate tasks. However, when you get into heavier lifting such as photo and video editing, expect things to slow down. This is not a workstation. In theory though, we should be able to do some light gaming such as CSGO. So this is 720p on medium. And it's not bad. It's not the smoothest experience in the world, so we're bottoming out around the mid-30s on the frame rate. But for a bit of gaming, this is not bad. Also, you are a moron. I wish all gaming could just be played against easy bots on CSGO. I shouldn't play with real people, that's a bad idea.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I probably shouldn't crouch, right? That's not a good idea. Oh, come on, that was actually pretty close. That was pretty close. Knifed! That was a solid 8 and 24. The Swift 7 is a legitimately cool laptop. However, you're paying a price for that. Not only are you losing ports, even though you get dongles in the box, but more importantly, it's expensive. At around $1,100, you can pick up other laptops that are very similarly equipped that have actual USB ports and HDMI ports that are gonna cost you a couple $100 less. This is not a bad laptop, but you really are paying a premium for those extra few millimeters of thickness. So what do you guys think about the world's thinnest laptop? Definitely be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.